Hey lovelies, it's your girl Meelah Sanaa. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, if you're not, welcome back. And if you've never seen me before, that means you aren't subscribed. So before we get started with today's video, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Okay, in today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys how to get rid of imposter syndrome. And if you don't know what that is, let me tell you. It's basically when you feel like you're not as competent or whatever the accolade is on the inside as people do on the outside. My dog is right here. He's been sitting here the whole time. As people do on the outside. And an example of that is like, say you get somewhere like at work or at school and everybody's so like qualified to be there. Everybody's so like, they have all these accolades and all this, that, and the third. And you feel like you're not supposed to be there. You feel like you got there by fluke and by chance, and that it's somebody just overlooked your application. They just said, sure, put her in or him in. But I'm here to tell you they didn't do that, and you belong. Okay, step one of getting rid of imposter syndrome is calling it by its name. Like, you have to recognize, like, when you start feeling like, when you start telling yourself, oh my gosh, they have this, this, and this, and da 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 da, everybody's so smart, she got that right, I don't belong here. Like, just constantly feeling like you don't belong, or everybody's gonna find out that you're a fraud. Like, you have to call, like, you have to sit there and call it by its name. Like, giving things name gives them power, or it can take away their power. Like, if you ever seen Never Ending Story, you know the princess needed a name, and Treyu had to give her a name, and he gave her a name, and the world was saved. But think of that, but like in reverse. Like, if he gives her a name, then like the evil monster will come and everything will be, well, yeah, essentially the same thing. Okay, like if you give it a name, when you give scary things a name, it makes them a little bit less scary, because especially things like this, because you start to feel like, okay, I know I actually do belong here, and I know this is just like some psychological trick my mind is playing on me to make me feel like I am not supposed to be here. So yeah, you always have to, like, for me personally, I've had to before, like in school, like when I got into things, or when I got into school at all, I just felt like everybody's gonna find out I'm actually dumb, and I don't belong here, and they're just gonna find out I'm a big fraud, and they're probably gonna like put me in like a dunce hat or something like that. But nobody did, because I wasn't a fraud. Like, I had to tell myself, like, Jameela, girl, this is like a thing in your head. You worked your butt off to get here. Like, y'all, whenever you get somewhere, you worked your butt off. You worked to get there. You didn't just like, some people do just like, well, I'm here. Like, you know, and it just happens with them. But a lot of people, we work to get to the places that we want to be. So that brings me to my second point. Remember the process, okay? Like, remember the steps you took, the long, hard nights you stayed up late, or the days you worked overtime, or like the times you took, you know, the times you did more than what was necessary. And I don't say more than what was necessary. The times you really remember the process. That's all I'm gonna say. Remember the steps you took to get somewhere, because I promise, in remembering those steps, you will very much feel like you belong there. Like, you will very much feel like, I'm supposed to be here, and can't nobody tell me I'm not supposed to be here. Okay? Like, you have to remind yourself of what it took, because when you let imposter syndrome come in and kind of like weed itself and make you feel lesser than or incompetent, you are so like, you're disrespecting yourself. You're disrespecting, like, you are putting no respect on your name. You're throwing dirt on your name and your hard work and your sacrifices. So I know for me personally, I have to constantly like relive the process for me. Like, because I have to remember, like, no, you struggled to get here, and now you're here. You fought to get here, and you're here. So nothing anybody does or what anybody has that I don't have is gonna make me feel like I'm not supposed to be here. It's just not. You have to remind yourself of that. Like they say, trust the process, but also like kind of dwell in the process too. Like, remember it, feel everything, like on your way to somewhere. Even if like I'm not where I want to be at, but on my way to where I'm going, I feel all of this. Like the nights when I'm up studying, or the nights I'm up trying to create something to share, I'm remembering it. I remember this feeling. I told my friend, like, remember this feeling. Like, we're both trying to do things right now. And I was like, remember how this feels. Like, remember the, like, not being where you want to be at, and how kind of hopeless it feels and things like that. You have to remember those kind of things, because that way when you get there, you'll feel more validated in your own, you'll have more validation in your own eyes, versus when you forget the process. Like, when you wake up and you're just kind of like, oh, I'm here. Like, I just did one little thing and I got here. Like, no. Like, major companies like Apple and most other major companies, they have like, people see like on the front and like on the outside, you see, boom, it dropped this one product, skyrocket. They did great. But no, it was years and years and years before this product that they dropped that they took off. It was the work, you know, that got them there. So it's kind of like you have to remember how you got to where you are, just so you don't feel like you're not supposed to be there. Because I promise you, like, if you know you did everything you're supposed to do to get there and more, then what else? Why would you not belong there? That's my question. Why would you not belong? So, yeah. Now, going on to my third point. Third point is, don't compare yourself to other people. Like, stop comparing yourself to other people. Because, like many people say, comparison is a thief of joy. In your professional setting, school, or like a model, or whatever you do, don't compare yourself to other people. Because I'm here to tell you that, like, you can't be watching somebody and thinking the grass is greener on the other side, or even knowing the grass is greener because y'all are neighbors, and you see them like feeding their grass and watering it and trimming it weekly, daily, like doing everything they need to do to get that grass tip-top shape, right? And then sit there and wonder, or even say like, my grass isn't that good, I'm not a good gardener, Well, how can your grass be that good if you spend all your time watching him or her or they manage and maintain their grass while your grass is brown and withered? Please help me understand. Like, it's paradoxical. You can't expect your grass to grow if you don't give your grass any attention, and you're too busy paying attention to the grass of the person next to you. Like, it doesn't work like that. So you have to like focus on yourself and focus on what you offer and focus on what you are good at. Like, comparing yourself to other people, it also robs you of any feeling of success that you may have for yourself, just because you always think that their presence brings, like, they're more successful than me in this setting because they have X, Y, or Z, or because they offer X, Y, or Z. But what we need to do is stop, get rid of this strange idea of perfection that we have of ourselves in our head. Because you're not gonna offer, you shouldn't want to offer the same things as the person next to you. You shouldn't. So like, in this whole like trying to get rid of imposter syndrome, you'll only feel like an imposter when you keep trying to be your peers. So you have to stop trying to be your peers and stop comparing yourself to your peers and be yourself. Because what XYZ person offers is like, boom, say it like this. You guys can be in the same place at the same time, have a common goal, but the value that you bring to that place is completely different. Like, it's completely different. You bring two different experiences to the workplace or to wherever you are. Like, you bring two different experiences. So it's kind of like, how can you compete, or how can you compare yourself with someone who isn't you? You just can't. You can't. I personally, I'm the kind of person who, even if they're really pretty or really anything, I do not. Like, if I compare myself to people, that's my own thing. But don't ever compare me to somebody else. Because I promise you, 10 times out of 10, I'm going to be like, don't say that. Like, don't say that, but I don't even like getting my head thinking like, well, I look like so-and-so. No, I look like me. I look like what I have to offer. So don't compare me to other people. Like, I don't like to be compared to people. And I don't like to compare people to people. Like, I don't know, because I just don't like it. But yeah, like, you can't compare yourself to somebody who like has a completely different background than you, life than you, genes than you, everything than you. They're different than you. They're human, yes, but they're just too different. Like, people can have gone through the exact same things. You can gone through the exact same amount of schooling, and each of you, your same exact classes too. Each of you graduate school or whatever you are doing. Each of you leave that experience with a completely different view of it. So just think about how like crazy that sounds. You're comparing yourself to somebody who's not you. You can only compare yourself to you. Like, to who you used to be, you know, to who you are. Like, stop comparing yourself to other people, especially in like a setting where you're starting to feel like you don't belong somewhere. Because I promise you, like, the root of why you are feeling like you don't belong there is because you keep trying to hold a candle to other people, and you can't. You just can't. And they can't compare to you. And you need to remember that. Like, you have to stop. What did the baby say? Stop the comparisons. It's not good. Boom, bada bang. That's it for that point. That was long and drawn out. But yeah, don't compare yourself to other people. Okay. Step 4 is basically don't associate making mistakes with being an imposter. Don't associate making a mistake with competence, because I'm here to tell you, everybody makes mistakes. Doctors sometimes make mistakes. Teachers make mistakes. Police make mistakes. Like, everybody screws up. Like, everybody messes up. Everybody does things. Even principals, the people you feel like are supposed. The president makes, well, I mean, moments out, the police and president, but everybody makes the mistakes that you feel like are just so, like, detrimental, and everybody's gonna find out after you made this one mistake. Oh my gosh, they asked me a question, I got the answer wrong. They're gonna find out I'm a fraud. Like, girl, shush. Like, guys, come on. Like, it's not even that. Making a mistake is completely human. And with, like, imposter syndrome, you have to remind yourself that, like, you can't speak. Because a lot of the times when you're, like, suffering from imposter syndrome, depending on how long you've been, like, processing it in your head, once you make a mistake, or you don't speak because you're afraid that you will make a mistake, and you're not speaking and participating and sharing what you know, what you have to offer, that is only perpetuating like that feeling of being an imposter. So you have to be able to speak unapologetically, and if you do make a mistake, that's okay. She may have gotten an answer, they might have gotten an answer, but you know you can get the next thing. You know there's something that you do 100% know about, right? So it's like, stop being so hard on yourselves. Like, for some reason, people in general, when we get into a setting with other people, especially me, I am extremely hard on myself. If I get something wrong and I'm in a room full of other people, I'm just like, I promise you, I am in my head. Like, I'm just like, because I think for me, I've had an experience like in middle school. School was just a really rough time for me, like, well, mostly middle school. Middle school, terrible time. Oof, chills. But I would get something wrong and I would not answer, and my classmate, like some people, something like that, I would answer, so I'm, I can do it. Like that, I let that external experience, like that person's everything, make me feel so dumb. Or like, and I would just not talk again. Like, I would not participate. I would not raise my hand anymore, because I associated, like, even when I didn't know something, I just assumed I was gonna get it wrong because I got it wrong that one time, and I just felt like if I get anything else wrong, everybody's gonna think I'm dumb, or everybody's gonna think I'm not smart. And dumb sounds harsh, but it's just genuinely what I thought. I just thought that people were gonna think I'm just really not smart. Even though I knew I was smart, I just felt like I didn't want people to think I wasn't, you know? But we have to realize mistakes are lessons. And that's like saying, like, I don't want to be taught, so I'm not gonna talk, I'm not gonna say anything. No, make your mistakes, own your mistakes, and recover from them, because that's exactly what they are, lessons. Like, you can choose not to learn anything from them and to let them stop you, and let your failure or your mistake at something stop you, and then you are a failure, and then you've made an irreversible mistake because you didn't go back, not go back, because you didn't bounce back from it, you didn't learn from it, you didn't do research, you didn't learn, okay, I got that wrong, and now I know the correct answer, so now when another question comes, but I do know the answer, I'm gonna say what it is. Like, you have to know that making mistakes is completely human, and just because you make a mistake somewhere at work, in school, or wherever, it doesn't mean that you don't belong there. We all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. There's nobody on this planet who has never, ever, ever, ever in their life made a mistake. Even the most qualified people or to be where you want to be have made mistakes. So get rid of that whole, I got it wrong now in my head, now I further think I am not meant to be here. Stop it. Mistakes are normal. You make them, you learn, you move on. Point. Remind yourself that while you're feeling all these feelings of angst and things like you're not supposed to be here, just, it's kind of like imagine everybody naked, but not so vivid. It's just imagining that, understanding that everybody is trying for the first time today at this moment just like you. They may have done it a few times, a few days, a few years, you know, prior, but today, the next day that you walk into wherever you're going, everybody is trying again for the first time. There is no repeat. There's no, it's the same as yesterday. Like, well, yes, we have schedules and things like that we like to uphold and abide by. We don't own the time, so we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what kind of curveball work is going to throw at us or school or whatever. So you have to acknowledge the fact that you're not the only person trying. You're not the only person trying to, I won't say prove themselves, but you're not the only person trying to succeed. And not the only person trying to fit and things like that. So you have to remember that everybody, there's kinship in this. Everybody is trying for the first time again. And it should make you a little bit less nervous. Because while yesterday was yesterday, today is a new day and a new day for opportunities. And a new day to just start over and refresh. Like, you have to remind yourself that whatever the feeling is, like wherever you are at the moment, 2 minutes from now, it's going to be a new moment. And you can use that time, like, for example, me personally, it wasn't so short as 2 minutes, but like I said, in middle school, I was extremely timid. I was probably the worst time in my life. I was quiet. I didn't want to talk. I got sweaty palms. The teacher would call on me, and kids are just mean, and it was just like not a good time. And in 7th grade, my mom told me I was going to a new school, and I was just like, a new school with other kids? Just don't let me come out of my room. And she told me this when I was coming back from camp, but I felt so afraid. But I realized, you know, it was kind of strange that I realized. I was very young to realize, to like come to this like metamorphosis. I decided I don't want to be that. I don't want to be timid. I don't want to feel like I'm not good enough to be somewhere. So I'm going to make myself feel good enough to be there. I'm going to, like, you know, it took a lot. Like, I told myself that when I got to my new school, I was not going to be quiet when the teacher, you know, if there's a question I knew the answer, I was going to raise my hand if I got it wrong or not. And I was just going to do it. And honestly, and I did do it. And I flourished. I did better than I ever could imagine I would have ever done. Just like socially, because I had come from such like I was in my head a lot. And of course, there were external factors. But I did it. You have to really tell yourself, despite other people, despite the things people may say to you, everybody's trying again. You can try again. You can restart. 5 minutes from now, 10 minutes from now even. I'm congested because I think like my allergies are kicking in a little bit. Sorry. But yeah, 10 minutes from now even. You can restart and you can own this day. You can own this experience and you can own this time. Whether it's work, school, any of that. You can own it. So remind yourself and stop being so in your head about like you're the only person who's struggling with da-da-da-da. A, you don't know that. B, you don't know that. And C, you know that everybody has struggled and everybody has just restarted. You know, like there's so many new opportunities in a day. So you can't waste time. You can't sit there dwelling in, you know, the fact that, oh my gosh, it's just me. It's not just you, it's everybody. We all restarted today. So I suggest you get with the program and restart. Final point on how to get rid of imposter syndrome is to literally plug yourself to yourself. Like consistently tell yourself the things that you've done. Like it's like positive affirmations, but use your name. Like, Jameelah, you're amazing. Jameelah, you did and X, Y, and Z. Jameelah, you're just so great. Like, I do that to myself. It sounds crazy, but I legitimately have conversations with myself about how great I am and how much I believe in myself. Because one thing about it is if you feel like an imposter, you think you're so worried about what other people will think of you, you know, eventually, if you keep feeling like you're not good enough, people will see that you, like, because at the end of the day, we're still animals. So we see things like that. Like when people feel like they're not good enough, consistently enough, other people can begin to see that. And even if you have everything, because you think so low of yourself, other people, they won't want you because they feel like if you don't think that you can do it, why would they think that you can do it? You know? And like that's how some people ruin things for themselves. So you have to remind yourself who you are, what you have, what you worked for, all your accolades, everything that makes you special and unique, and everything that makes this place need you. Because I remember one time my auntie Alma taught me a lesson. I I was sitting there fishing for compliments when I was a little kid, because I was really like, I was just a little kid. And I said, I'm ugly. She's like, you are. I was just like, I'm ugly. And then she told me that, you know, whatever you say or believe about yourself, other people will believe about you too. So you can't expect other people to see anything other than what you radiate, anything other than what you give off. Like, so if you sit there and you feel sorry for yourself, people are gonna feel sorry for you. Like, people are they're not, I don't say they're gonna feel sorry for you necessarily, it's just you're not gonna get what you're looking for. Like, all that time you're spending dwelling on whatever it is and saying you're not good enough and you're not this enough or that enough, people will believe you. If you say it and if you believe it, people will believe you. Like, nobody will believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. So it's very important that you boost yourself up constantly. You constantly believe in yourself consistently, even when you fail. Like, not even your mom. Like, your mom will be worried about you if you are so like, I don't know if I can do it. She'll probably be like, I don't know. Like, because it's if you don't believe in yourself, nobody can follow you. Nobody can believe in you. You can't believe in you. You can't succeed. You're like holding yourself back. That's like, you know, when you don't believe in yourself, it's like driving on an open road with a tank full of gas, AC, nice day, and like a really fast car. And every time you drive, you get somewhere, you jerk on the brakes. But there's nothing but opportunity. There's nothing but road, clear road. Nobody's blocking you. You can just go. But because of all these strange things you tell yourself about yourself, and they're not necessarily true either, you stop and you minimize your potential. So that's one thing you really don't want to do when it comes to experiencing imposter syndrome. You don't want to downplay your abilities. And yeah, when you downplay your abilities and when you feel like an imposter, honestly, you're holding yourself back. Like, because I promise you, you do belong where you are because you work to get there and because you do things to maintain your status there. It's like when you hold yourself back like that, you are denying yourself the successes and, you know, the realization of your dreams, as well as denying the world the opportunity to share in your success and to give you your flowers. So you have to believe in yourself, and you have to really understand that nothing that you've done to get to where you are has gone unnoticed, because you are where you want to be now. And while some people may not have done that, it doesn't matter. Don't compare yourself to them, because everybody's process and journey is different. So what you remind yourself of, that process I told you guys about, like to keep playing in your head, what you remind yourself of is going to be different what the next person reminds themselves of. So you have to keep that in mind. And, you know, I'm the kind of person that wants to see everybody succeed. I don't want anybody to think that they don't belong somewhere, especially when they have everything they need to be there. And I don't mean just like degrees and diplomas and all these certifications and credentials. I just mean inside, in general, like that you carry, that there's no physical manifestation for. You have to believe that what you have is enough in order to feel like enough, and you have to remind yourself why it's enough and how you've gotten this far because it's been enough. So yeah, that is my final point. I really hope that you guys have gotten something from this video, and if you've ever experienced this, I hope that whenever you experience it later, if you ever experience it again, you try some of these tips. And if there's any other mental self-care, any other type of thing that you guys want to know about, because I've probably experienced it, I will definitely share with you. So just let me know in the comments, and before you leave, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.